Sagrara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Srinyavari Bhaskatya Desatarana. Hare Krishna. So I was asked today to speak how to be oneself. Maybe you heard this one before. How to be oneself. People often talk about this. How to be oneself. What they usually mean is, I want to be myself so I can do what I want. But somehow it doesn't work, really. We always want something, but something else happens. In scriptures, we find description. In the Vedas, there's 3 elements which are constantly preventing that we get what we want. And that's called Adibhudik, Adidevik, and Adhyatmik. That means there is constant influence from other living entities around us. They also want something, but not what we want. So that interfering, there is a problem. Then is the influence from supernatural powers. We cannot control the weather, really. We want to have a sunshine, but instead of that, there is raining. People travel sometimes around the whole planet. Nowadays, we can travel much more as we used to do. So they can jump on an airplane and they go somewhere where they think, oh, now it's going to be warm. But even that we cannot predict. And when it's warm, maybe it's too much warm, you know? Yeah. I know whenever I come to India, I think, oh, now it's warm. But after a few days, sometimes I think, that's too warm, you know? Depends what our bodies are. And then we come to the third point, which is constantly disturbing, and that's our own body. Our own body. There are actually 2 kinds of bodies we have. There is a gross body. This is what we see. This is made from earth, water, fire, ether. This is elements this body is consisting from. And we can see it. Earth, water, we know there is water. And there is fire. Why? Because there is temperature, you know. Yeah. So that means there is some fire going on. So, and then there is a subtle body. And that's the mind, the intelligence, and the false ego. False ego is something which makes us every day to believe, I am this, yes. We wake up in the morning and I think, yes, that's me, you know. I remember when I was a small boy, I was known to have a possession of a very powerful mind. So I could imagine lots of things. I imagined so many things that I didn't want actually to even, I didn't need anybody to talk about it. I had my own imagination world, fantasy world. And every day I was thinking, oh, today I will be like this. Or I identify myself with somebody. Yeah, I remember I had my, when I was a small boy, I had my cowboy days. I saw Wild West movies with men walking around shooting, bang, bang. I liked that. I was going, that's like me, yeah. So, you know, my father got me actually 2 false pistols. And I walked around and I was going, yeah, I'm a cowboy now. Yeah, bang, bang, that's me, yeah. Yeah, but after a while, it was not really me. It was just imagination. I remember then the next thing I saw a film which depicted musketeers. This is a French man, for those who are from India, work with swords, you know, and they always do some fencing. Military man, more or less. So I was thinking, yeah, that's like me. Yeah, yeah. So I got myself a stick, and I walked like with a sword, and I was constantly fencing somebody. And I was thinking, yeah, that's me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But after a while, it changed again. The concept, the ideas changed. So finally, after changing from one identity to another, one imagination to another, I start slowly to realize I don't know who I am. I'm imagining somebody to be, but I don't know really. Who is really me? Who is really that me? I had some idea of myself, but it proved always to be wrong. It always to prove to be different. So that's where you start to ask questions. Who is actually the real me? But nobody can answer that. People have slogans, like ideas. Believe in yourself. You know? Then the next question is, who is me? What is the self? Well, I don't know. But how can I believe in myself if I don't know who I am? Yeah? Problem. Or they go even further. They go, I feel that I love you. We should love each other, right? I love you. When you ask practically, well, you love me, but who is me? Well, you. What is me? They write poems. Men write poems, romantic poetry. Oh, the beautiful women with the beautiful hair, beautiful shape of the body, beautiful eyes. But still, the question is still there. Who is she? Who is me, really? I can speak now because I'm in a male body, so I can speak like this about women. I could never understand, even today I don't understand, what women like about men. Because this body is for me like, how can somebody like this body? When I go, this is a beautiful man, I go like, where's the beauty? Living in a male body, when somebody says, this is a beautiful woman, I can understand that, yeah. Yeah, yeah. This is actually this is nicely shaped, and there is more to it actually. Beauty is much more as just a physical shape. So what is it really? What are we really looking for? It's again the me, the person. I love you. Well, who is me? We don't know. Then we get married and we live intimately together, and we discover, oh, that's somebody else. There is a somebody else. And I mean, you know how many women I met in my lifetime who said, I was married to this man for 20 years. I still have no idea who it is. How is it possible he suddenly acts like this? I have no idea. And the men say the same thing about the woman. And the reason? We don't know. We don't know who we are. So it's a very, very important question. Be yourself. Well, what is the self? Now we learn from Bhagavad Gita and we learn from Vedic scriptures about the self, the real self. And real self is defined right away in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita as something which doesn't change. People think, what? It doesn't change, it must be very boring. No, it doesn't change in its quality, but it's immovable, it's indestructible, it cannot be cut in pieces, it cannot be drowned, it cannot be dried out, it's eternal. Now people think, yeah, well, what about, but I can see that things are not eternal. That's a good thing to know. You know, this body is not eternal. No, it's changing actually all the time. It can be drowned, it can be cut in pieces, it can be destroyed. But this is not what we are looking for. We look for, they go, I love you forever. Really? Well, what is forever? There's nothing forever here. So how can you say such a thing? It's a lie. It's actually cheating. You cannot love anybody forever. Like this. No, not possible. Because it's changing and it will die. It will disappear. Everybody here, whoever is born will also die. It's a fact. So what is it really what I love? What is I looking for? We look for the real person. Who is the real person? Who is the self? Be yourself. Who is really the self? We see like here persons in different stages of development. There is small children, they have their own world. They have their own, perception. When children come together, they see just children. The grown-up people are like, they do something else. They go to work and they talk different. Small children, they are, what is it? What is the grown-up people? They have their own communication. Oh, you have a lollipop. I also want a lollipop. And they have their own ways to perceive. It's interesting, when their babies are born, they see only babies. Now they know the mother, they know the father, that's the closest circle. But actually when they see another baby, they go, there's another baby. Yeah. They have a baby society. Then they grow a little bit older, then they have a children's society. And then they have a teenager society. And then they have the working people society. And then they have the older people society, and then they have the pensioner society. They always communicate with each other like that, on that levels, because they are in a similar age and similar stage of development. But this is all derived, this identity, from this body. Now we get the information actually in the Bhagavad Gita, we are not this body. So that's not the real self. And people get confused. They go, well, what else is there? Well, there is a person in the body. Actually, we are looking for that person. Like I remember when I was a teenager, and I saw old married couples. It still exists those days. Nowadays, not so much. But like my parents were married 57 years before my mother died. This kind of marriages you don't find much anymore. So, so I always wondered, how can these old people live still together like this? I understood as a teenager why you want to be close to a girl. When teenagers come together, and it's called falling in love, they cannot see enough each other. They cannot be enough together. They're always thinking, where is she? Where is he? Where is she? Where is he? All the time. This is a certain stage of development. And I saw actually once in Vrindavan in India, similar things being reproduced by monkeys. Monkeys have it also. I saw two monkeys sitting on a wall, and they were sitting this close to each other. And one monkey was making, and the other monkey was going. And then, and the one monkey was going, and the other monkey was going. They were imitating each other's faces. They couldn't get enough of this. Just watching each other's faces. This called teenager, when young people come together, they just go, I cannot see enough of that face. I cannot be closer enough. More close, more close. Yeah, when you get older, it doesn't work really like that. You saw that face many times. And you know how these bodies work. What do the bodies do? Eating, sleeping, mating and defending. None of these four things is really satisfying to the self, to us, really. Eating, somebody goes, that's like one of the last things which survives. Yeah. Actually, I'm now in Malmö. I end up here in Malmö in a hospital once. It was emergency. I had an appendix operation in Malmö once upon a time. Appendix comes suddenly, it's just comes out of nowhere. There was a devotee living here named Bharata. He already left the body. So I visited him, and that same night I visited him, I got severe pain in the stomach. I end up in a hospital and end up being operated. This is a appendix operation. The doctors are joking about it. They go, that you can operate in the elevator, you know, on the way up. This is not a big operation. But it's an important operation. You can die on that too. So, you know, so I got quickly operated, and I found myself in a room lying with 6 men. I was younger. I was around maybe 40 years old. But all these men lying around me, they were now in my age. I don't think anybody was younger, like 70, 80 maybe. And the room was packed with 6 men lying in one room. And I was just lying there watching this man, you know. And it was very educational. Being actually a devotee of Krishna, you learn all the time. So, I mean, these men were completely helpless in their own ways, you know. They were just lying there. One of them, he was lying there so long, they had to turn him around so he doesn't rot. You know, like this. Once a day they came to turn him around. He couldn't even move. So I was just watching this. But they still like to eat. They were still going for some, you know, something to eat. Even they were practically dying, all of them. So this is so powerful. The tongue is a very, very powerful thing. You see old people sometimes, you know, the doctors tell them, you shouldn't eat this anymore. You will die when you eat it. No, they will eat it and they will die. You know, because the tongue this is very powerful. You know, sex life, not so good. You know, even the idea is there. Can you imagine in the same room, I was lying in a hospital, I remember. This man who couldn't even move, when the nurses came to turn him around, yeah, he still with the last power reached with the hand for the nurse, just to touch her. She was like, put his hand back again, you know. I mean, the man, it was just a few days from dying, and he still reached out for that woman. This is like, you know, this is just an idea, okay? It doesn't work anymore. So eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Even sleeping may not work so much when you get older, you know. People think, when I'm in pension, I'm old, I will enjoy, I will just sleep and eat and enjoy. Really? No. How can you enjoy an old, disintegrating, falling apart body? Not possible. And actually the body is, how do you enjoy the body, really? Because as soon as you find something you like to do with the body, the very same thing can become a source of your pain. You think eating, oh, after a while it becomes painful. Too much eating, oh, you know, oh, no. Sex life, we are not going to dwell on this. This everybody who tried it out knows. Big problem. It can become a really big problem. It's just people talk about this, like here in a Swedish society. It's all like, what? What kind of sex life? Blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just talk. It's not the essence of life, not at all. From the eating, sleeping, and defending, actually sex life takes very minimal time. If you think about your lifetime, how much sex life you have in your lifetime, it's very small. In comparison, how much you eat, but to speak how much you sleep. You know, but people talk about, no. We know from the Vedic point of view that actually it is there. It is a powerful thing, but it is actually aiming to procreation, to producing children. This is actually what is there. That's actually the real thing. And Krishna says himself in the Bhagavad Gita, I am sex life. That sex life embodies me. He's God. And he says, I am sex life, which is meant for producing children. The other sex life, that can very easily turn against you. Very easily. There is never enough, it's not satisfying. And this whole propaganda that women are just made for sex life and all the sex life, this is all propaganda by men. And at the end, I don't want to go more in detail, but Sweden is the wonderful example. This was the country in the 60s, I remember very well. I was already alive. This was the country people used to immigrate to have more free sex life, more free. What was the result? The first one who realized this whole thing is cheating is the women. They realized they are just using us. They're pushing us. I have to look like that, and I have to be like that all the time. I must be horrible. I'm again in a male body, I don't know, but it must be horrible to be a woman. Because you always are under pressure. You have to look like that, and women have to be like that. And men have it also, but a little bit, it's more simple. It's more simple. Like how many hours or how much time it takes for a woman to look good to go out on the street. Nothing to be compared to a man. Man is just, and he goes out. Women, they can be hours in the bathroom. They don't come out. You think, what are they doing there? Because they have to look, like this and look like that and look like this and buy all these expensive things, to look like that. So finally, everybody realized, I'm beautiful. Yeah. But the beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. That's a Bengali proverb. It's very subjective. Like in India, they may perceive beauty being a little bit different, like in the West. I remember India was, we used to laugh about this. Beautiful Indian woman must be very, very fat, very big. That was beautiful. That's a sign of rich and opulent and good eating, and this is beautiful. Now in the West, from Western point of view, not so. In the West they developed another concept. A beautiful woman must look like coming from a concentration camp, like from jail, just skin and bone, that's beautiful. It's very subjective what beauty really is. What is the beauty? Now in Krishna consciousness we know that kind of beauty is completely illusory. I know even one man, he was not a devotee, but he was a good observer. He said, how unfortunate is the man who gets married to a girl with a beautiful eyes, beautiful hair, and the rest. Because he doesn't know. He just sees the beautiful hair, the beautiful eye, but he doesn't know. He's blind. Women, the same thing. Again, I don't know what they see, but they must see something beautiful, otherwise why they are attracted? So it's very subjective. It's very temporary, and it's very illusory. That's not the self. This is not what we are looking for. We are looking actually the real self, the real person. I love you. Well, who is you? I want to understand you. You must understand me. Well, who is the me and who is you? That we learn in Krishna consciousness. Actually, there is a beauty. And actually, there is the real me and there is the real you. But that we learn in Krishna consciousness. And it has nothing to do with this body. This body is changing. It's just a tool to express oneself. But I have to say myself, yeah, I met in my life maybe a very some very, I could say this is a very beautiful woman. You know how old she was? She was 75 years old. But she was absolutely beautiful. You know why? She had such a wonderful qualities, such a noble type of behavior, such a dignified way of appearance, and such a great deal of introspection, resulting in humility. That's what we call in Krishna consciousness beautiful. A beautiful devotee. That's somebody who has these qualities. We judge people along the qualities. And essentially people go for that. They look for quality in a person. Yeah? Nah? But because they are attached to this body, they get cheated. Because the body is constantly changing also. What you admire in other person when he's 20 years old, that may change when he is 50 years old. What to speak of being 80 years old. You know? But I met actually even couples, married couples in my life. I was living once in a Czech village, small village. There was still this kind of old-fashioned couples around. Not many. They are dying out. And my neighbor was 82 years old. His wife was 80 years old. They had such a loyalty and such a relation. They were married together. She met him when he was 19 years old, and she was 16. You know, from there on, she asked her mother, I guess I have to get married. You know, girls think, even small girls think about these things. Who should I get married? And the mother told her, you see the boy hanging on a tree there? He was 18 years old. He was just, boys are still boys, you know. They are 18 years old, they still hang on trees sometimes. It's really crazy. So, you know, they are a little bit behind usually. And, you know, so he was playing on a tree, and her mother said, you will not find a better husband. Don't go anywhere, look. This is the best one you can get. So she was going, well, my mother must be right. She's an experienced woman. She got married to him, and they were together the whole life. She even told me, this old lady, she told me we didn't have one conflict, one fight. I believed her. This sounded like, she said not one, they call it crossword, no. When he died, she said, women usually survive the man. She said, oh, there's no use for me living here. So she died 1 year later. That's it. Not very difficult to understand Krishna consciousness, what they will do in the next lifetime. You can keep on going with this, you know. So that's not our goal in Krishna consciousness ultimately. But our goal is to understand things as they are. And what is us and what is the self. What is me and what is you. That's very important to know. Otherwise, we will always get cheated. We will always get illusioned. We always work upon our imagination. It's just the imagination. And that imagination, like a dream, it will just disappear. Yeah. So in one sense, what the different phases of life we go through, they bring to us this experience. Practically all what we believe to, what we hoped to achieve, this will all vanish. And even people who actually did achieved what they wanted to achieve, yeah, or they surprisingly got something they actually were not even imagining it can happen, they are still not satisfied. I met quite a few famous people in my lifetime too. I can give example of, you know, George Harrison, Beatles. That's a famous musician, famous group. Was, you know, yeah, very famous, worldwide famous. And he was actually chanting also Hare Krishna at the end. He was very lonely. He was thinking, actually he was speaking about this famous George Harrison, like about somebody else. He said, that's not actually me. Because how you become famous in a society? By propaganda. You know, I'm coming from an artist background, and artists, basically, there's only two ways you can survive as an artist. You become famous or not. Or not means finished. You cannot live from that. You know, and if you are famous, you can make lots of money. So how do I become famous? You have to have a good agent, a good person who will sell you paintings, sell you art, and make a big propaganda for you. It's all propaganda. How do people become famous singers? How do they become famous? You know, there are so many wonderfully singing ladies. Why is this lady become famous and the other one not? Because she got a better agent. It's all propaganda. How do you become like this? But what do these people realize? It doesn't make you happy. Actually, it brings even more misery to you. Prabhupada gives an example of a king who had a big problem. He was eating so many wonderful feasts, he couldn't eat anymore. You know, his digestion was finished. And he was enviously looking out of the window how outside is a simple rickshaw driver, you know, some simple guy who drives this kind of rickshaw. And he was happily eating his chapatis, you know, no problem. He had no problem with digestion, you know. So Prabhupada gives these examples he gave, especially the example of France. It made an impression upon him when he visited France. He said, oh, I saw old men in France going to certain clubs. There's some certain club called Moulin Rouge, where they have all kinds of girls dancing, you know, very scarcely dressed. And there's an old man, they cannot eat much. They are very rich, but they cannot eat much. They cannot have much sex even. No, it really doesn't work. So they just go there to look. Prabhupada said, they just go and pay for the watching. It's completely horrible. You cannot do this, you just can only watch. But actually in the material world, we are often in this kind of situation. It's just imagination. I don't want to go too close to India, but I mean, I was pained. Anytime I came to India, I came first time to India in 1978. It was a bit different India as today. You know, 1978, there was many people who couldn't even read. And many poor people, very poor people, and some very rich people. There was nothing in between. There was either poor or rich. There was nothing more. So, but I came from the West. And all the Indians were going, oh. They were going, where are you coming from? And I was going from Sweden. I was at that time in Sweden, actually. And they were going, oh, Switzerland, Switzerland. Because actually they didn't know Sweden. No, there was not one single person in India who had idea where Sweden is, what is this. But Switzerland somehow or other they knew. That's where there were rich people and mountains with snow. That was for Indians like the real enjoyment. Because snow, nobody saw in India much of the snow until you go to Himalaya up there. Nah. You know, as I remember, they were already at that time producing these Bollywood musicals with these Indian couples dancing in the snow. This was considered like luxury. You dance in the snow, you know. For us, it was like, no, it's misery. It's not enjoyment, really. Of course, people try even make snow into enjoyment, but that's another story. But for India, I was like, oh, from Switzerland. And they're going, no, Switzerland, Sweden. And we're going, oh, where's Sweden? We're going them, this is high, up there. There is, usually I went in a springtime. We have a special festivals in the springtime. In Stockholm was still 2 meters snow, you know. And in India was no snow. So I told them, it's lots of snow. And they were going, oh, snow, wow. And I said, well, you cannot actually live there without heating. They go, what is heating? In India, heating is not important because it's warm already. Then what do you have? Cooling is good, but not heating. You know, here in West, you have to heat everywhere, isolate, dress up, pack up all the time. You know, always, where's the cold? Where's the cold? You know, and if you're not careful, you get cold. And if you go out there in snow to enjoy, you can die. Of course, you can die in excessive heat in India too, but it doesn't go that fast, like to die in the snow. So what kind of enjoyment is this? So India was very innocent, but people had always this idea, these people in the West, they are all enjoying. They are like in heavenly planets. It must be heaven, you know. Look, they have watch. I remember I had watch. You know, when I went like this in India, they were reaching for my hand, looking for the watch. Oh, watch. How much? How expensive watch? Oh. That was actually 1978, it was like that. We were thinking, we came to India to see these wonderful people living in a holy place, being practically Krishna conscious. Just being born into this. They didn't have to fight for Krishna consciousness like we had to. When I joined Hare Krishna movement in 1972, I was considered by everybody to be a crazy man. What happened to you? You went mad. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You are mad. Let's go call police. Let's call a psychiatrist. This was the idea when I joined. You know, what happened to you? You are chanting Hare Krishna. When I came in India, I came out of the, bus. They're going, oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. You know, it was normal. In West, I joined in Germany, especially in Germany, it was like that. I was member of a dangerous sect. Very dangerous. I don't know what dangerous, but very dangerous. You know, there was heavy propaganda. Hare Krishna is a dangerous sect. In India, I was thinking, everybody is a dangerous sect here. What is this? You know, it was so simple. And even today, when I come to India, of course, actually without being able even to live there, really, I feel much more at home, like being here. Why? Because people have such an easy access to Krishna consciousness. That's the beauty. That's what we call enjoyment, actually. And regarding here, the idea of enjoyment, oh, you have to really struggle for it. In India, I saw even beggars enjoying. It's really far out in India. The man has nothing, and he's sitting there smiling. You know, nothing. If you have nothing, it's also a luxury, you know that? Nobody is envious on you. Nobody will cheat you. Because why? Because there's nothing to cheat. You know, when you are poor, when you are simple, it's a luxury actually. You know, oh, I am not rich. Oh, I am not famous. This is all misery. So we are not advocating some extreme, poverty. No. I mean, everybody has some life, but God can take care of everybody. It's not a big problem. So beauty, it can be only derived from knowledge. And knowledge, satisfaction comes from knowledge. And knowledge means knowledge about oneself. Once I know who I am, eternal part of God, nobody can take this away from you. I am eternal servant of God. Nobody can deny you that. Why? Because you can serve God under any circumstances. Everywhere. No problem. It's called ahituki apratihata. It cannot be stopped by any material circumstance. So you know who you are. You know what you have to do. And you know where you want to go. Because when you ask even people, what is your aim? Even religious people, they cannot give you proper answers very often. Srila Prabhupada discouraged us actually to study other religions. He said, just ask them, you are following this religion, what is the goal? Where you want to go with that? I mean, why are you doing this? Most people don't even know. They think, I believe in this, but I don't know. Or they will go, I will go to heaven. Oh, that's okay. Then you know at least where to go. But heaven is also a temporary thing. According to Bhagavad Gita, heaven is a temporary location, is still part of this material world, of this material universe. Now, in Krishna consciousness, we know where we go. We know we go back home, back to Godhead. That's where we belong. Once you know that, actually, and once you know what kind of means you can apply to strive for that goal, you already become happy. You know why? Because in Krishna consciousness, the process, the way, is of the same quality like the goal. There's an example given. A king was very pleased by a very obedient servant. So he asked the servant, you are doing so much nice service for me. What can I do for you? I'm a king, I can do anything for you. So what do you want? And the servant said, actually, I heard you have a storage room full of gold down there in a cellar. I would like to see that. A room full of gold. So the king said, that's all? Okay. So he took him with him, and they went the stairs down to the cellar to see a room full of gold. And the servant was completely, whoa, so much gold, amazing. Then he looked on the floor, it was also made from gold. Then he looked at the stairs, they came down, they were also made from gold. So this is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness, already the process, is spiritual, of the same quality like the gold. And you can, you could say already as a preview, you can taste some happiness on that spiritual path, because it's of the same spiritual quality. It's really nice to know who we are. It's really nice to know what to do. And it's really nice to see each other not in this discriminative bodily way. Whatever people may say, here we are in Sweden, where there is an immense attempt made, always was, to make it to a classless society. No differences, we are all the same, isn't it? No, it never happened. There are in Sweden immense rich people, and there are people who are just surviving. It's always divisions here. And actually it's incredibly hypocritical. I know here in Skåne, when I go around, people always go, no, we're Swedish, we're all the same. Yeah. Well, when you come a little bit close to them and they trust you more, then they start to speak more honestly. This group is nonsense, they should disappear, these rascals, they belong here even, immediately, they come. The women go, all men are stupid. And the men go, oh, the women, it's immediately divided. Why? Because bodily consciousness means that it will be divided. Guarantee. There will be conflict. There will be divisions. There will be war. There will be. And we have Bhagavad Gita. It's clearly demonstrated, like even within a family, there will be a war. This is not a place for being united. We will be automatically disunited, because as long as we believe we are this body, then there will be discrimination. There will be like, dislike, now, immediately. So classless society, it's a good idea. But it can only happen on a spiritual platform. There suddenly, no problem. You know, I joined this movement in 1972. I was an immigrant. I joined in Germany, but I was not a German. No. So even the German devotees were going, who is this? I'm coming from a Slavian background. That's a little bit different. They are different people, you know. Slavian people are more emotional. German are more constructive, you know. In Germany, they go, what are you doing? We're making good money. Yes. Let's organize things. Slavian people, they are not so much in organization. They are more, you have to feel good. You have to have a good talk. You know, yeah. If you have a good talk and you like each other in emotional way, like, then we can do things together, yeah. Otherwise, not so good. Not so good. And then it's again division among Slavic. I don't want to take you around. It's really different. You know, yeah. You go to the, I was just, right now, I was sometime in the Balkan part. That's actually, you know, old Yugoslavia, Croatia, Serbia, this part. You know, there's constantly conflicting, these people. Constantly. They are constantly just, he is from that town, you know, and he is from this town, and he's from this village, you know, constantly like this. Actually, they like to come even together, but they don't like to live together, you know. So this is Balkan. Constantly just, when you come to already Czech Republic, where I'm born, they are all like, you know, yeah, we could have a fight, but it's too much work, you know. Yeah, let's drink some beer and wait until something happens, you know. They are more like people who just withdraw and they wait until somebody is doing something. So, you know, that's another thing. I mean, I could tell you from one country to another, you know, there's not a chance we are born in a certain country. There is divisions, there is differences. Even in India, my God, how many different people live in India? Incredible. You know, there are so many different races even. There is black people, there is Aborigine type of people. There is, I mean, you take somebody like from South India and you bring him to Rajasthan. Well, it's a little bit different. You know, you take somebody from Bengal and you bring him to Delhi, and they go, oh, he's from Bengal. Yeah. You know, they know immediately. You know, oh yeah, this is the people from there. You know, so many different. And India is actually a wonderful example of something. If you would put, you know, so many Western people together, like in India, they will kill each other immediately. There will be immediately conflict. But India is quite amazing because it's still so religiously based. They go, yeah, well, you know, God put them there, so they are there. Yeah, okay. You know, actually, even the level of envy, I know there's envy everywhere in this world, but it's quite minimal in India in comparison to the West. In West, they are all like, you know, where did he got the money from, huh? Huh? I also want to be like him, you know, competing. In India, they're like so very often, yeah, well, he got it, I got this, it's okay, you know. Yeah, I'm speaking about the simple people, you know, and that's the majority. I never found such a level of tolerance like in India. Yeah, okay, yeah, you have this, okay, yeah. They are curious. They go, oh, you have such a big car, where you got it from? But they don't really go like, I will demolish his car. I will steal his car. Now, there are many thieves in India, we know that. But very often they do it out of poverty, out of emergency situations, you know, yeah. It's not actually that vicious like here in the West, you know. It's India is in many regards an amazing place, because you never find people of such a different people being that close to each other, exhibiting such a level of tolerance. You know, look, you go in India in a city, you know, it's not like here. You look here, oh, there's nobody there. In India, the same city of this size of Malmö would be packed with people, day and night, day and night. And there will be constantly people going, interfering with each other, all the time. Pushing, and constantly somebody doing, you know, in the West you will find it abusive. They saw somebody who just pushing me around and somebody wants something from me or what? The West is very private. Everything is just, this is mine, this is yours. Don't come here. You know, this is West. You know, in India it's like, you know. I was going once on a night train, Calcutta, Delhi. It was called the Sleeper. Nobody was sleeping. Nobody. I will sleep on a sleeper. No, I couldn't sleep 1 minute. Because the whole night they were just, I mean, everybody, it was a big action on a train, and they were sitting on each other's lap practically, pushing each other and sharing and I was like, well, actually I want to sleep. No, not possible. You know, so this will never happen to you in the West. You go just Malmö Lund on a train, just nothing happening. Everybody. That's it. So that shows you something. And this is just different symptoms of a theistic and atheistic, you know, culture. I cannot even imagine what it means to be Indian in Sweden. Must be horrible. I mean, you come from a country, everybody talks to each other, and you come here and it's like entering a refrigerator. You know, in a refrigerator, there's not much going on in a refrigerator. Everybody is deep frozen. No, I know that people in Sweden will complain, go, we have many things going on here. You know, we have so many things going on. Yeah, it's just in the mind. I don't see anything much happening in reality. It's just in the mind. Now in the mind you can imagine lots of things. You can imagine even what you are. You know, I don't want to insult any nationality. It usually doesn't work very good. People get upset. But usually that concept of nationality is based on a mental idea. You know, especially in these days where everybody is mingling with everybody. I mean, come on, who is really Swedish? Who is really German? Who is really of any nation? It's all mixed up, you know. So they say, oh, I'm belonging to this nation. Really? That can be changed even. You know, they ask me, where are you born? Yeah, I was born in this country, but I didn't grow up there. So, oh, you were born in Czechoslovakia. Mm-hmm. They must be Czech. No. I grew up in Germany. Well, then you must be a German. No. Because much of my life I lived in Sweden. So then I go, oh, then you must be Swedish. No. Swedish people think I am too expressive. Not so good. In Sweden, when you go, hello, how are you? They go, why is he asking? What does he want? No, I don't want anything. I just want to say good morning, that's all. Yeah. But they go, nah, this is too much. You know. In Germany, it's a little bit better, but they go, okay, good morning, how are you working, you know, and you know, and what are we going to do today? You know, yeah. In Czech, of course, I'm born there, they can immediately sense this man is born here. So they relax and they go, can you tell us some joke? Because Czech people, they must always joke about something. Otherwise, they are not happy. You don't understand maybe how it works, but they must joke all the time. Even very bad jokes. Czech people, they can make jokes, you will cry, you will not laugh. Really bad jokes. But they like jokes. It's a way of communicating. And it's very subtle. That's, So I can come, but even Czechs, they understand, they think, no, I am too German. For Swedish people, I am too Czech. I don't fit anywhere, isn't it? Yeah. And when the police comes and they will make a check here, show us passport, ID card. I have a whole collection of this. Somehow it happened. I didn't die yet, so I have 3 passports. I have all kinds of papers I can produce, and they ultimately will say, well, who is you? And that's a good question. So we should always ask ourselves, who is the real me? And it's only there we can actually really meet each other. We can really actually love each other. We can actually really appreciate each other when we know who we are. And as soon we think we are something we are not, it's a problem. Because my concept of myself is not your concept of myself. And immediately the ideas start to conflict. So this, what we are looking for, can be found only in Krishna consciousness ultimately. So I was asked not to be too long because many people are coming here and have to go again. So we can talk about these things in Krishna consciousness day and night. It's endless. It's not like we say, oh, I know now who I am. No, we actually every day have to reconfirm our real identity and abstain from the false identities being imposed upon us. Because people will never relate to you as you really are. They don't know. They will relate what you think, what they think you are. Yeah? According to the color of your skin, according to the way you behave, according to, like how many Swedish people really know something about India? Not many. And when they come to India, they are like, what is this? They cannot relate to it. Of course, they were not born there. They don't understand how these people work. So, and like Indian people, and there are few people who are very adaptable. They can just, you find Indians everywhere. And somehow or other, they can survive with that. Swedish people you don't find everywhere. They are very Swedish. Yeah. So they are not so adaptable. So there's differences. But in Krishna consciousness, all this plays no important role. As soon as somebody actually understands more and more, I'm eternal part of God, I'm eternal servant of God, even it may be expressed slightly differently, the goal is the same, the understanding of the identity is the same, and we immediately find a platform we can cooperate and we can really relate to each other. There's some questions to this talk, maybe, or comments? It's a big issue, who is me? But it's really tragical for us to go around and look and seeing people walking on a street. None of these people understands who he really is. Can you imagine? Nobody knows really who is the real me. They all think, yeah. And most of the people, it's called mundane in Sanskrit, they are lazy actually. They don't want to even bother with that. Why should I bother with this? I am just that, what they told me to be, so I am just living here, Very superficial everything. But this movement is for serious people. This is actually for people who really want to know. Who is real me? What is the real meaning of life? What is the goal of life? What is a real valuable thing? Because many things in my life prove to be useless, actually. Quite no big value. There is a moment in life which is very serious. It's called the death. You know why? Because when we leave this body, we are dying, then all the other false identities and all what we worked for proves to be actually quite temporary, quite useless. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the real important thing is when you are leaving this body, to make sure that we don't get another material body. That means another birth, another assortment of false identities. Yeah. And again, another ocean of illusions being lied to, you know. People know actually they get lied to. They know this is lies, you know. Yeah, but what else? They think, well, this is life. I'm lying to you, you are lying to me. You know, people become like phlegmatic, become really superficial, they don't care. Yeah, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, this is for needs of this body. They will recognize that even. So let's do it. Some eating, some sleeping, some sex life, some place to be, that's called defending, you know, some protection. But this kind of superficial life is not for those who are interested in Krishna consciousness. We want to know. We want to have a meaning in life, a real meaning. Yeah?
So when you are asking, okay, first pardon me if I'm saying something wrong or not understanding, but when you are asking who am I, what about my work? Like I'm a teacher. Who am I? I'm a teacher. And
Teacher.
Teacher, okay. And I do my job. Okay? And that's the saying in the Bhagavad Gita also. Like you do your job, but don't expect the result.
Right.
So what I'm saying, or if I have a question like who am I, I'm saying I'm a teacher and I'm doing my job, but I'm not expecting my result, any result from my teaching, but my teaching is my prayer.
Yes. That's a good approach, but still the identity in itself, it's temporary.
Okay, but fine. But in Kurukshetra, the wartime, when Arjuna asks Krishna, like, shall I do the work? Then Krishna says, you should do the work because you are Khatri or Khatri, and that's your job to do the work. But don't expect the result because I have fixed the result.
You see, the very often people misunderstand. They think, okay, if all the identities we assume are so illusory, yeah, whatever I do, yeah, and whatever result I get, it's all illusory, then why should I do something at all? So actually what it means, they think, well, let's become nothing. You know, if everything, something is so illusory, let's become nothing. This is a wrong idea. This is not what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, you do your duty according to your nature. You must do. He goes even so far, saying in the Bhagavad Gita, you cannot even maintain this body without doing something. Everybody has to work something to maintain the body. So this, when you are in this environment, you do what you have to do, but as you mentioned, don't depend on the result, depend on me. So the idea is to make Krishna to the center, and the rest we do. Yeah, like Arjuna was a warrior. He didn't want to fight for valid reasons. He had a very valid reasons not to fight. Krishna goes, no, 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 no. You have to fight, and besides the fact, the nature of this body will force you to do what you have to do because you have a certain nature built in. I mean, you mentioned you are a teacher. Well, I didn't met one teacher, and I met quite few teachers who do this for money, becoming famous, or something of this. This is actually, I consider all teachers being quite idealistic workers. All of them. Because you don't get much out of this really. You don't become multi-millionaire by becoming a teacher. You don't become famous really by becoming teacher. Rather, you get sometimes, especially today, you get quite some trouble out of it. The kids may not like you. The parents don't like you. It's the students may not like you, and you still have to teach. I mean, it's actually quite a selfless job. I have a big admiration, a respect, actually, respect for teachers, because they really, anybody who wants to teach something in this age gets in trouble, sooner or later. Somebody will go, immediately there's argument, for nothing, sometimes for nothing. Oh, I met very miserable teachers on the road. So it's a very idealistic. So Krishna says, you do what you have to do, but put me in the center. You fight, like Arjuna was a warrior, you fight, but for me, remember me. You teach, but you teach in a way, or you see it in a way, that you become more and more Krishna conscious. You put Krishna in the center, which is sometimes difficult. Like somebody can say, well, I'm a butcher. A butcher is not really something we like in Krishna consciousness, but somebody by his destiny, by his karma, he got into this occupation. Even such a person has a chance in Krishna consciousness when he actually renders the results of his work to Krishna. And ultimately he will give up probably that work, because you cannot do this like this. Now, so there are certain class of work which is difficult, but like teaching, there's a scope. You can teach in a different way. Teachers have a little minor freedom to actually teach in a different way. You can apply the teaching differently, more in a routine type. I remember I had many teachers in my life, before I came to my real teacher, Srila Prabhupada. But I had many teachers. I went to communistic school. I went to capitalistic school. I went to all kinds of school. I had many teachers. By the age of 16, I remember when I was 16, 17, I thought all teachers are crazy. These crazy people. And actually, if they look a little bit normal, we help them to become crazy. And that was actually teenagers. That was our hobby, to make teachers crazy, And coming from this kind of anarchistic generation of people, I remember teachers just flipping out, just slamming the book on a table and go, then teach you that yourself. And then she ran out of the room, like that. And we were going, oh, that was good, So we were quite nasty. When you are a teenager, you can, very often, it can be quite nasty, actually. So, but actually, they couldn't answer our questions. Uptime came to Srila Prabhupada, who was also teaching, and very rigidly teaching, but he could answer my questions. So no wonder I start to respect this. I would go, oh, now I'm getting my answers. So then, that was a different thing. Most of the teachers I met until then were helpless people, helpless. They were struggling around, smoking and, and Oh boy, I could go. When I remember my school time, as soon as I left the school, which was by the age of 17, I forgot everything. What I learned. Completely wasted time. The little counting I could learn myself at home. And what? I mean, what did I learn in a school? What was of some use in my life? That water is the chemical formula H2O doesn't help me much in my life, really. Especially when there is rotten water and when there is no water at all. What's the use of this? Now, there are people who may use this kind of knowledge. Okay, I respect that. But for my life, it was useless. Therefore, Vedic education is very specific. You teach people according to the quality and according to what they actually really can do. And there are different people with different qualities. Nobody could actually address my quality, what I wanted to learn. There was no teaching for that. So no wonder I just went through the school like this, just surviving. And then as soon as I went out, and this is very valuable time when you are young, you can still learn things, all wasted for nothing. Just, learning. I started in a communistic school. Can you imagine? They were teaching me that Russian people are super people with special brain. I came home and I told my father, Russian people must be a special brain. And he was laughing. He said, yeah, it comes all from this vodka alcohol drinking, That comes by the brain. So I forgot the whole thing. I was indoctrinated all the time. Then I came to the West Germany. My parents escaped. They immigrated. And I went to the capitalistic school. And they were teaching me that the good people, they produce Mercedes car. And they make lots of money. And I was really like, okay. I didn't believe anything to anybody anymore. Nothing. That's also not good, But I was just thinking they're just talking. They couldn't even teach me English properly because nobody was inspired to tell me why should I learn English. If they would teach me the English, which later on I came to understand, I would learn very fast. Actually, I became even English teacher myself on a certain point. In Krishna consciousness. It's ridiculous. I know nobody was teaching me much English, but I can teach English anybody. If anybody wants to learn English, please, I can tell you how to do that. Everybody here, I can teach you how to speak English in 3 months. You will speak fluently English. I know how to do that. I never learned that. I was just put in that situation, and I realized if you take it very personally. I don't want to go much in detail. This is not really Bhagavad Gita class. But I taught even a 16 years old, very, very impudent, very arrogant boy English. He was so intolerable that nobody wanted to teach him English. They gave him to me. They said, you try. The parents were begging, please, he gets kicked out of the school. Can you try to teach him English? And I look at him and I was going, he looked horrible. He looked at me like, who is you? But it was a man-to-man thing, He couldn't handle women, and the women couldn't handle him. So I was going, sit down, sit down. So you want to learn English or not? And he was like, why not? Yeah. He knew, the fun is over. But actually he wanted to have a fun. I asked him, what you like to do? He was a 16 years old boy. He was going, I like motorbikes. I told him, oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. I don't know motorbikes much. But let's learn how to drive a motorbike in English. And he was like, how is that possible? He said, no, you tell me about the motorbikes. I will tell you how to say it in English. Okay? And he immediately pulled out the paper. He was very clever, the man. Very brilliant boy, actually, but he couldn't handle the school. It was too boring for him. It was not on motorbikes. So we learned about motorbikes. One motorbike, more motorbikes. Motorbikes driving forward, backwards. Motorbikes driving yesterday, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Motorbikes driving. Motorbikes green, yellow, and red motorbikes. They were driving backwards, forwards. They were driving fast and slow. They were driving 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, the whole English came out of that motorbike. And the man was just, you know, noticing everything down because it all came from the motorbike. After 3 months, he could speak quite normal English. You know, it's just because I caught his interest, you know, and he felt understood. This is the basis of education. If you manage to actually catch the interest of this, you know, of those you are educating, then they learn very fast. Yeah, no problem. I remember, he even thanked me. That rascal even thanked me. After 3 months, he said, quite good. I can speak normal English. You know, I went on internet. It's useful. My father borrowed me some money. I bought a big box of mobile phones from China. And I will make a good profit on it, selling them on a black market. You know, this is a 17-year-old kid. You know, because he spoke English. Yeah. So this is like, you know, this is an example how you learn. We do the same thing in Krishna consciousness. First we try to wake up people to the interest. Why actually should I do this? Why should I actually practice Krishna consciousness? Once the interest is there, then it's more easy to actually transmit the information. I already teach and all that. That's actually the most difficult part, how to make people interested. The rest just goes. Nobody taught me this in a school. They couldn't make me interested. I come from a musician family. My father dreamt about it, how I should become a famous musician. But somehow or other, they could never wake up me for the interest for that. And I was interested in music, but not like this. It's a classical music, it's a hard job. You know. I spent my whole childhood in a concert halls, you know, just listening to this classical music. You know, I found it extremely boring. Because nobody was showing me that it could be fun, actually. I like more like listening to Ravi Shankar, India. Why? Because the man had some fun when he was playing, you know. In India, when you get the group together with it, and they go, and they get really, you know, they get really going, they have some fun. Why did I listen to rock and roll music? Because it seems they have some fun, these people. They like to do what they are doing. That's actually the real thing. Otherwise, Ravi Shankar, I couldn't understand anything of this, you know, Indian music, it's very, you know, but I understood they have some fun here. They like what they are doing. So there must be something there which inspires these people. So this is the basis of teaching, and this is the basis of Krishna consciousness, ultimately. It's just our fun goes much further. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, what is the next program?
Yeah, if you wish to do little arting.
Huh?
Arting.
Somebody does Arctic, I should chant, or somebody knows?
If you can do it today, and I'm going to sing the arti, it's okay?
You do chant, and
Yes.
why not?
Thank
Sure.
you. Before we start, I want to ask Anamika. She has bought some deity in India, and she wants to know how she can start home and worship and what
Home
she's
worship.
supposed. Yes. And,
It's quite easy, it's possible.
yeah, she needs to do some prayers before.
Huh?
She need to do some prayers before. Need to do something before she take it home. It
What?
is like ceremony or something, some mantra. She's
Regarding what?
about the deities she has. Yeah.
Deities.
Yeah.
You have deities.
Yes. Yeah.
What kind of deities?
Yeah.
Show
We can
us.
see it now. Yeah.
This is what kind of deity is that? It depends.
Wow. Kunitai. Kunitai.
Can I see? Who is this?
Detta ska vara här. Okej.
Ja, du.
För här. Okej.
Ja.
De också? Ja.
Va? Ska du?
Oh
Men
my
vänta, är det,
God.
men det är röda Krishna?
Okej.
It seems like it's Gonitai.
Okej.
Gonitai?
No.
Radha Krishna.
Krishna.
Radha Krishna. Ah.
That's another question.
Oh yeah, it's very nice.
More close.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very nice. Well, our mode of worship is, there is a way to install deities. There is a way to install deities, officially. That should be done by a brahmana, by somebody who is meant for that purpose. But officially, obviously she likes to have these deities, right? Yeah?
She wants us to have it here.
There is a certain levels of worship. Radha Krishna is pretty high level. But it's wonderful, somebody wants to...
I mean, if we do offenses to Radha Krishna here,
Huh?
if we do offenses while they are here, that's not so good.
That's more high level thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So it's a
I
risk.
can only direct somebody to devotees who are far more authorized to comment on this. I am not the puja and the deity, installation man. Especially Radha Krishna.
Yeah.
Gonitai is chanting Hare Krishna. In regards to all the deities, basically we chant Hare Krishna. That purifies the atmosphere. Regarding Radha Krishna, it's a wonderful idea. We don't want to discourage anybody. But if it's the right place, I cannot judge that.
I don't think so.
It's actually should be exactly. It should be decided by you. You are here. I'm just visitor.
Yeah.
I'm coming, going. But you are here,
Yeah.
so you should decide.
Already I talked to with Anamika in telephone and I told to her what I know. Need to be initiated, need to have some special mantra from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
master
yeah,
and
yeah.
guru
Right.
and everything.
That's the official standard.
Yeah, yeah.
And how we can keep this till we have the standard or we
Yeah.
create the atmosphere.
Now let's say somebody keeps Hare Krishna at home like this,
Okay.
and he's chanting Hare Krishna, and you could say he's gradually may come up to the standard.
Okay.
It's a little bit premature in that regard, but gradually he may come there. So generally we don't, if somebody has such an innocent attitude, we don't discourage people really.
Hör du
But
vad
they
han
should be
säger?
informed that there is a standard and they should wait to install them. It's Krishna. It's not just something you, it's not decoration,
Too
okay?
much för för
I have
oss
just
här.
fought my home and
Alltså vi
still I
har
am so
varit i
careful.
Thailand.
Yeah.
Och Thai är väldigt barmhärtig.
At least,
Om
I
vi
mean, she
gör
knows
någonting
that.
fel
We should be
så
careful.
går
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. This is not to be put in some
skyddar
dirty
oss.
place.
Men
And
Radha
this.
Krishna
So if this worshipful attitude is there,
följa standard.
it's not to be
Så
discouraged.
liksom det är
But
liksom inte att
that's called
rekommendera.
inofficial. Officially installation, that's
Går den i Thai
How we can
är
keep
okej.
till we have maybe the standard and everything, how we
Det är
can
liksom
have
Krishna
we
själv.
can have
Och då
it
måste vi
how
verkligen
it is normal.
lära oss.
I can speak only for myself. I would say I would stay with God in Thai.
Alltså,
That's
det är
safe.
mycket.
God in Thai is simply worship by chanting Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Then
Så,
stone
men om
by
du kan ha
chanting
dem
Hare Krishna.
hemma och
Simple.
liksom lära dig hur du ska
Hare Krishna.
sköta dem.
Yeah.
That's Prabhupada said, I can quote, this is not my idea. You need at least 12 brahmanas to install the deities.
Nej. Men vi har ju varit
This is a big thing.
och han har sagt att han ska lära oss.
But Prabhupada, then I can specially direct, if there's interest, to Krishna Kshetra Swami, who was for many years the official deity minister of deity and puja worship in ISKCON.
Yeah.
Som är liksom
He's very pragmatic. He's a very practical person. So this kind of questions, if somebody is interested, I can direct them directly.
jag vet
You know,
du kan ha många bilder på Krishna
Yeah.
som du vill.
like asking those devotees who are technically more equipped to have the final judgment. I know only what Prabhupada did.
Byta
He
kläder.
didn't encourage this very
Det är
widely.
så många.
In India, everybody wants some deities, yeah, I know that. But especially Hare Krishna, everyone. Ganita, I don't have a big problem. This is, but still, again,
Ja,
you know,
utav vem då?
so if she can keep it in home, or something. I know artists, he has that. He officially is being a ISKCON Sunday advocate.
Men är det också på ett altare och liksom?
Yeah. Otherwise, they're beautiful, they're very nice.
Alltså vi som är, alltså, har lärt oss Krishna, vi har inte Radha Krishna hemma. Alltså vissa kanske har det, men man måste lära sig och dyrka dem. Tror jag. Men jag menar, det är okej om du har dem hemma. Det är inga problem. Det var så att,
Han säger om vi lämnar här, vi behöver 8 brahmachari och 12, du sa?
Yeah.
Ja.
brahmacharis.
If you know some priest who can come along with that will be good.
Ja.
Ja.
Men vi kan
Because
också
actually-
hålla på det, för han har sagt att han ska lära oss lite mer om de här
Actually, they have to be worshipped regularly.
vidare.
Ja, och du kommer tillbaka igen.
Ja men precis. För han har sagt att han ska lära ut dit i vår. När han ska bli den
If it's kept respectfully.
Krishna som står på vänster sida. Men de är så
Do you want I mean, I just think it makes more like
And the beauty of the Ganita worship, the standards are very simple and very liberal.
yeah, it's still on.
Yeah, but Hare Krishna has to be a
I have changed to the logo.
Hey, God, come here.
Sometimes it is good to show people what they are doing, what it is happening. It's not only
You could say it's Krishna there.
Jag var inte heller bra. Men jag offrar lite mat, lite rökelse. Nej, men det är vi ska prata om att man ska ha lite kurs. Så, jättebra.
So far, yeah, so we don't feel qualified for that. If somebody is doing it at home anyway, what's his saying is his decision. But if he is asking us to become part of it,
I'll take it.
inform him about the standards and the procedure.
Where is the border of
Like somebody, it's a very gross example, but if somebody like buys a car, but he has no driving license, you cannot stop him buying the car, but he can sit at home, sitting going, blah, 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 but he has no license. So one is to be licensed, like that. Otherwise, we don't want to discourage this. It's every idea to come close to Krishna, to close to God is good, but there is a way to do it. Huh?
Thank you.
You lead.
হ্যাঁ বুঝতে পারছি পরে আগে হচ্ছে মানে তারা তো সকাল দুপুর রাত্রি পূজা দিতে হয়
This one.
Now you offer both and we sing Nishima song. We have the songs that we can it is prabhu. Yes. No, it's please. Sit down.
Always in the end of program, we sing just one time, one round on each of us. Who likes to start?
You.
Just the simple one.
Yes.
Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Dasaya, Bhutale, Shimate Bhakti Vedanta Uchinamine, Namaste Saraswati Guravani Prasayine, Vishesha Shunyavadi Prasatante Prasayine,
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. बोलो.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
अंकित भाजी बोल दिया.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama